Hello folks, and welcome to this week's car news. You'll see I'm looking even more attractive than usual with this lovely golden tan. That's because I've just got back from a little bit of time in Spain with the family. Normal service should now be resumed for videos on the channel, so please stay tuned, please click like and subscribe and the bell icon. Thanks. So the stories this week are coming from various websites: Auto Express, The Sun, Autocar, Top Gear, and even one called Express and Star that I've never heard of before. So just wanted to give those a shout out before we get started. Self-driving vehicles to be on UK roads by 2025. Government details £100 million plans to get fully autonomous vehicles on the road by 2025. A new policy backed by £100 million of investment states that new laws will be introduced to facilitate the safe arrival of autonomous vehicles, which will create an estimated 38,000 jobs. The government has previously announced plans to allow drivers of cars that feature autonomous lane-keeping systems to take their hands off the wheel at speeds of up to 37 miles an hour in motorway traffic jams, at which time they can legally interact with their infotainment screens to read news or watch the television. The latest announcement details the next stage of the plan, which involves fully autonomous vehicles on other types of roads, and they don't necessarily have to have anyone with a driving licence on board. The government suggests such vehicles could be suitable for public transport or deliveries. Of the £100 million investment, £34 million will go towards research into safety to inform legislation such as testing these vehicles' capabilities in poor weather conditions and how they interact with other road users. President of the AA said that it's still quite a big leap from assisted driving, where the driver is still in control, to self-driving, where the car takes control. It's important that the government does study how these vehicles would interact with other road users on different roads and changing weather conditions. However, the ultimate prize in terms of saving thousands of lives and improving mobility of elderly and less mobile is well worth pursuing. So there will certainly be some safety benefits from this once everything is ironed out, I'm sure. But they're saying it's going to create 38,000 jobs. But if loads of taxis suddenly turn into Johnny Cab and deliveries start coming with autonomous delivery vehicles, what happens to all those people's jobs? All the taxi drivers, all the delivery drivers? So there are far more than 38,000 of them out there right now. Interesting. Watch this space. Let me know what you think in the comments. This from The Sun: drivers now saving £10.30 a tank on average as petrol prices finally fall. But greedy firms should drop them by at least another 15p to give a fair deal to hard-up motorists, the AA said today. So petrol's fallen by around 19p a litre in the last month after a record high in July of 191p per litre, but the average price should still drop to around at 160 if savings are properly passed on. Over in Spain it was about 160, 170 a litre, but of course that's in euros, not in pounds. Still a fair bit cheaper over there, but of course they don't have so much VAT to pay as us, do they? Because we love paying VAT. The other thing that's just mentioned in this is that it's still a postcode lottery, as prices wildly differ across the country and even within regions. I see it locally here, like within 5 miles you'll see a massively different petrol price from one station to another. And I think it's just time for some proper regulation to come into this, because the knock-on effect that this fuel price is having on the rest of the economy is ginormous. UK, this is from Autocar: UK has electric car charging black holes, warns the AA. AA says 40% of households could be left behind in the EV transition as on-street charger schemes fail to meet demand. The government is failing to meet the UK's needs for on-street electric car chargers, the AA's warned. The UK's electric vehicle infrastructure strategy, published in March, stated that a minimum of 70,000 on-street chargers will be required in residential areas by 2030, when the sales of new petrol and diesel cars will be banned. As of the 1st of July 2022, just 2,869 had been installed under the on-street residential charge point scheme, with funding allocated for a further 9,543. This scheme provides local authorities with grants to install on-street chargers in areas where off-street parking is not available. This basically goes on to say that there are huge parts of the country where this is just not being taken up, but just recently we saw another report from lots of local authorities saying that they didn't know about this, they haven't been told how to apply for it, they haven't been told how the scheme works. So not massively surprising. Good news is there's still plenty of time before 2030. I think a few people need to get their thumbs out of their bottoms and get on with the job at hand, don't they? Now look at this bad boy. Dodge has revealed a high-powered Charger Daytona SRT concept and it's going to be an EV. The concept features a new EV exhaust note as loud as a V8 Dodge Charger and a multi-speed transmission. This is interesting. Dodge are calling this the future of electrified muscle. Obviously, over in the US, muscle cars are still a massive thing, and there's a huge market and tons of enthusiasts for muscle cars over there. Dodge says the concept features a new propulsion system called 𝗵𝙎, which raises the pinnacle of performance compared with its other performance lines of 𝗼𝗵, hellcat and red-eye. Its 800-volt powertrain has been partnered with four-wheel drive, meaning the Charger Daytona SRT is claimed to be faster than the hellcat in all key performance measures. Dodge claims the car is equipped with a special fratzonic chambered exhaust. There you go, a fratzonic chambered exhaust, which emits 126 decibel noise as loud as a 787 brake horsepower V8 powered Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat. The system consists of an amplifier and tuning chamber, which are both positioned at the rear of the car. Dodge says, watch the video below and see just how loud the Charger Daytona SRT concept really is. Alright, let's do that. Don't forget they're talking about putting sound detectors on our speed cameras at the moment. There you go. That's exciting, isn't it? What do we think about that, folks? The Geneva Motor Show acts for the 4th consecutive year. February 2023 event called off, replaced by Qatar show in the following November. So it's been cancelled due to uncertainties in the global economy and geopolitics. I just got back from the British Motor Show yesterday. There'll be a short video on that coming out on my channel next week at some point. So the stands tended to be sort of large main dealer groups, people like Marshalls and Eden and Harwood's, companies like that. But really, why would the manufacturers at the moment be spending hundreds of thousands or sometimes millions on putting together their car show displays and having their team of people there to support it and to get all the press interest around it, the logistics of getting the vehicles over to Geneva? Why would they put all that money in? Because at the moment they're selling plenty of cars, they just can't produce them. So it seems like a strange time to spend lots of money on marketing events when really and truly you can't fulfill the orders you've already got. So it is an interesting one. I was hoping to go to the Paris show in October, and that does appear to be going ahead, but I'll certainly want to see who's going to be exhibiting at that before I decide if I'm going to go over or not. But sad news, because Geneva's been one of those sort of key events in the car world really for years. And it looks like a brilliant thing. I'd love to go to Geneva one year. It's been a dream of mine for a long time. But who knows, maybe that's the end of it. It's going over to Doha the following year instead. This from Auto Express. The new 2022 MG7 could be a cut price Audi A5. Let's have a look at this. It does look a little bit like an Audi A5, does it not? I think they can certainly give a tip of the hat. It's sort of a cross between an A5 and a BMW 4 Series at first glance. So this will be a new internal combustion powered model, and it will sit above the MG5 and the MG6 in the firm's lineup. We're unlikely to see it on sale here in Britain or indeed outside of China. So many cars now just seem to be on sale in China. It's going to be a bit longer than an A5 because the Chinese love a bit of rear leg room. It's going to have a 2-litre petrol engine producing 254 horsepower, 405 newton meters of torque, and it will have a 9-speed ZF gearbox. There'll also be a 1.5-litre version producing 183 brake horsepower with a 7-speed dual clutch automatic. It's a shame if that doesn't come over here. You sort of think there would be a market for it in the UK, so watch this space, I guess. The new BMW 5 Series is to play it safe in its battle with the Mercedes E-Class. The all-new 5 Series will rival the Mercedes E-Class and Audi A6 with mild hybrid engines and a pure electric i5. Our exclusive images preview how it could look. Let's not say it's going to look like this. This is their idea of how it could look after seeing one in camouflage. There you go. Looks a bit like a 5 Series, doesn't it? Shocking. They're saying it's going to be one of the brand's final new models before its new class generation vehicles begin to arrive in the middle of the decade, likely led by all-electric replacements for the 3 Series and the X5. Right, now this one's got me excited because I saw this at Goodwood Festival of Speed and it just blew my socks off. It's just a thing of beauty. So So this O2 Roadster that we saw at Festival of Speed is going to arrive in 2026, and it will be the Polestar 6. It's going to have 872 brake horsepower. It's going to be an electric super cabrio. So there are initially going to be 500 of these made, but they think they're going to be around about $200,000 a piece. But look at that as a piece of design. What a thing. If anyone's got a spare couple $100,000 knocking around and you want to buy me a Christmas present, I wouldn't say no. I really love that thing. It includes two motors, 872 horsepower, 664 foot-pound of torque, and a projected 0 to 62 time of just 3.2 seconds. Flat out, it will top 155 miles an hour. Oh, if only, folks, if only. Audi's sending just 75 RS4 Avant competitions to the UK. Coilovers, sticky Pirellis, 180 mile an hour top speed, and space for 5 people with luggage. Practical perfection, possibly, and yours for 84.5 grand. Wow. More companies seem to be doing this. I know if you want any kind of special edition Porsche now, you really have to be invited to purchase one by Porsche, and it's something they say for their sort of top tier of customers, and Audi are clearly going to do that with this, as they're only going to have 75 in the UK. It's a real shame because they're making these top level sort of rare cars almost go up in value from day one. They're making what are generally unattainable cars anyway impossible cars. There's been some noise this week about the new Porsche 911 GT3 RS. That will only be available if you've bought a million Porsches before and you've spent a ton of money with them and you're on their nice list. And that car you'll probably be able to sell on day one for 100 grand more than you bought it for. I can see it's a great perk to offer people because you're basically giving them a car and a blank check. But it's this sort of artificial creation of demand and this artificial creation of classic cars somehow. I don't know, it sniffs a bit to me. Right, forgive me if I mentioned this in the previous video, folks. I think we touched on it, but it was sort of about to be announced. But the MG4 has now been announced. It's going to cost from 26 grand. It's going to be the most affordable full-size EV on the market, comfortably undercutting rivals such as the Nissan Leaf by several £1,000s. It's going to have a claimed range of 218 miles, and standard equipment includes 17-inch alloy wheels, a 10.25-inch touchscreen, 7-inch digital dial display, and automatic LED headlights. What do you think of that? I think that's a good looking car. It's a lot of money, 26 grand, but it's not silly money for a new car, certainly not in 2022. And hopefully we're taking a step now towards a few more affordable EVs. By the way, folks, I should have mentioned earlier, but this week's news video has been sponsored by one of you. It's Tim Collins. He hasn't asked me for a shout out. He just bought me lots and lots of coffees. I really, really appreciate it, Tim. It's not the first time he's done it, and it really makes a big difference. Thank you very much indeed. I've got the Kia EV6 in for review this week, so I'm looking forward to spending some time with that. The review video for that will probably be in just over a week. We've got the EV lease deals of the month coming up this week. I'm also putting together a video on the rising cost of new cars and how that's getting a bit daft, and hopefully there'll be a little bit of an update on the Audi, because the stereo system's going into that today, and the final electrical gremlins and a couple of other little bits are being dealt with as we speak. So there'll be an update on that fairly soon too. Thanks ever so much for watching, folks. Please go and follow me on social media somewhere. The link to all my social media places is in the video description. It's always in the video description. You click on that link tree thing and it will take you to my pages on just about every platform you can imagine. Please give this one a thumbs up, and please like and share as wide and far as you possibly can. Really appreciate you watching. I'll see you next week at 8:30 on Sunday morning. Keep watching and have a good week.